So, here we go. We are back with another episode of Biz from the Inside Out. And we are joining, hopefully, fingers crossed, if the technology works this time. We have Rachel Michaelson joining us, who's talking all about the startup mindset. So we're talking about people who are in the first 1 to 2 years, and we're going to hopefully dive into that. So fingers crossed Rachel sees the invite and everything else, and we can dive straight in. Okay? If not, I'll have to jump out and jump back in again. So those of you that are paying attention, right, stay with us, alright? And as always, the show is sponsored by Entrepreneurs Success and Sales Mindset, and that is the Facebook group for entrepreneurs that want to succeed on their own terms. They want to have the success that they want and the sales that they want, and they want to do it through the power of mindset. And there is a link to join at the top or at the bottom. I think it's at the one of those two. Facebook keeps changing, but there is a link to join the Facebook group in the description there. So in a couple of minutes, alright, fingers crossed, we should be joining with Rachel Michaelson. Alright, I have seen Rachel's on, but Facebook has just told me that I can't bring you on the camera. Alright, so I don't know if that is your end or my end. So Facebook's just told me that I can't bring your camera on. So hopefully, but that's just changed now. That has literally just changed now. So we'll see. Let's see. So yeah, we're aiming to talk about startup. We're aiming to talk about the first 1 to 2 years in your business, and we're aiming to discuss the mindset behind that. All right. And here is Rachel. Hi, Rachel. You okay?
Hiya, finally got on.
Finally got on. Yeah. How are you?
Not too bad, you?
Yeah, doing all right. I'm trying to find, where was the one I picked before? That one. We'll see if the yeah, there we go. Awesome.
Dude.
Yeah, I was trying to find, because a lot of them are dead flashy and things. I was like, do I really want that one? Like, can people actually concentrate on the video if I've got things flashing around everywhere? Probably not.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd dive in with just a black and white one for now. Probably makes life easier for people. But then I can see you a lot clearer because you're colour and I'm not. So I'll probably have to turn that off soon. We'll have to see how it goes. All right. So for those of you that don't know Rachel, share with us a bit about you and why you decided to come on the show.
Well, hi, I'm Rachel. I'm a family person. I work from home quite a lot. I'm just in the process of setting up my first business with the help of a lot of mindset coaching and things like that. It's going to be anti-anxiety and regarding working with bullies as opposed to working with the person who's been bullied. Mm-hmm. But on top of that, I'm going to look at doing anti-anxiety with normal people. I say normal people, but normal children, corporate businesses. Basically, the world's my oyster because obviously lots of people suffer with anxiety nowadays. Mm-hmm. So that's me in a nutshell.
All right, cool. So when we talk about the idea behind starting a business, then what mindset shifts or ways of looking at things did you have to adopt before the business actually started, and then trying to get the business going?
Well, initially, even still to date, I do suffer a lot with something called leveling up monkeys, which is obviously when I'm getting ready to go to the next stage. If I get ill or something, an obstacle gets in my way, I used to just let that stop me straight away. Whereas now, because I've been working obviously with Luana Ribeira quite a lot, she's helped me learn how to conquer these demons, for want of a better word, and not let them stop me getting to where I want to be or where I deserve to be within the business.
Got you. So we've got Joy joining us. Hi, Joy. You okay?
Hi, Joy.
Good to read you. So what sort of things tended to show up for you then? So if you could maybe give some examples perhaps, or maybe pinpoint something as to what was running through your mind when you were first deciding to start the business?
The major thing, believe it or not, was fear and anxiety.
Right, yeah.
The thing I'm actually helping people get over was my major thing.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, through mindset coaching, obviously I've had a chat with you. I've worked with Joy as well. With your help and mindset coaching, I've learned all sorts of different techniques of how to cope with those things, like even just simple things like meditation or breathing strategies, journaling. The world, there's so much out there. Even just going for a simple walk, or in my case, it would be I would drive to the beach and I would sit on the beach as
Right.
opposed to walk, because I do actually suffer with medical conditions as well,
Right.
which inhibit what I can and can't do quite a lot. But I don't let them inhibit me too much. I hasten to add.
No, of course not. So when did you decide to start the business then? Was it a particular moment? Was it built up over time? I mean, what was the journey like to starting up?
For me, certainly with the bullying side of things, that's come to the forefront more recently. The local community schools have been suffering a lot of suicides and attempted suicides recently from students who've been bullied. And for me, it's a case of, yes, I know people do work with the children who are being bullied, and it can sometimes exacerbate the situation. I've been in that position myself a long time ago. My daughter went through it when she was at school, and it did leave her with anxiety. So that's why I want to look at her like I will look at children who have been bullied. Don't get me wrong. I'm not just going to go, well, you're getting dealt with, jog on thing. But nobody really looks at the bully. They just tell them off, chastise them, or whatever. There has to be a reason why they're bullying. They can't just bully because they can. There must be. I mean, there'll be some children that will just bully because they can. But a lot of children, there will be underlying core factors. And if I can get to that root cause and deal with that root cause, maybe it's something in the home life, or school's not holding their attention properly for whatever reason. If we can get to that core reason, then we can deal with that and hopefully stop the bullying. And then obviously suicide rates in school will come down. The work environment will become a lot happier and a lot less poisonous for students. So, grades should go up and things like that. And that's all I want. Okay, it's going to sound a bit cliche. I want the world to be a happy place. There's too much unhappiness as there is. If I can help just a handful of children to be happy and grow up to be happy adults, I'm happy.
Yeah, I think what we do as children does ultimately impact us as adults, whether we hold on to those things or not. I don't think that matters as such. I think we are shaped by our experiences, whether we hold on to them or not. I think they all leave their footprint, if you will, using the beach analogy. They all leave their footprint, if you will, in the way we grow up, the way we develop, the way we show up, or it could be just called our tendencies, our personalities, the way we respond to stress or happiness or whatever the case is. And it programs. Yeah, it does, and it seems a little bit strange for people to think that you can just let go of it. It seems a little strange for people to think that you can just move on and that's it. The world becomes a happier place straight away. But the problem is I mean, my personal opinion anyway, I don't think that you can actually fully get over it. I think you learn to change what your response is to it. So you can still have it. You can still have the feeling or the sensation or the whatever it is. But your response to that changes as you learn different ways of responding, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So for yourself then, when you mentioned that you yourself sort of suffer with the same sort of things that you now help people with, what was it like in terms of, because I'm assuming you still started the business, you still say, right, I'm feeling this way, but I'm still going to start the business anyway, I'm still going to do it, I'm still going to act as well. What is that process like when you have that conversation with yourself that ends with, I'm going to start the business anyway?
It was hard, I'm not going to lie, because obviously I did hang on to a lot of, and I still do to this day, I hung on to a lot of resentment for the people who've bullied me through my life. I mean, it wasn't just at school, it's been through uni and all sorts, but I've learned to let go, and I've thanked the people who bullied me, because I think because they bullied me, they've made me a stronger person. They've made me the person who I am today. They've made me strong enough to realise that I can live, even though what's happened in my past has happened. It's made me stronger, and I can live, and I can come through the other side of it. And if I could go back in time and tell myself, my 15-year-old self, that, my world would have been completely different now. You know, I'd have probably done this a lot sooner. So I've had to go through that process and all the mindset work and stuff like that just to get me to this point now where I can go, I can do this. I'm strong enough to do this, and I can help other people to realise they can do the same.
Did you think that your 15 or 16-year-old self would listen to that from the older version of you? Or do you think they'd still have to go through it?
Probably not, to be honest, but I think the way I'd do it now, I probably would. My 15, 16-year-old self probably would listen to myself. Because obviously I'm going to teach strategies of how to cope with it, but I'm also going to do, I'm going to teach them how to work through all of their situations. I'm going to teach them how to journal. I'm going to teach them how, we're going to do icebreaker games, things like that. I'm going to make it fun, but at the same time they're going to learn. Yeah. And I think that's part of the problem. That, they go to counselling and things like that, and it's very stuffy. It's sat in a stuffy little room, and it's very much, how do you feel? Why do you feel like that? Blah 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 blah. And it's like, kids don't want that. Kids don't want to talk like that. Even adults don't want to talk like that. They want it in a fun environment where they feel like they're in control of the situation. They feel if they don't want to tell me something, they don't have to tell me it. They can write it down in their journal, and it's there. As long as they're getting it out somehow, then it's done. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, cool. We've got a couple more people joining us. We've got Susan as well, which is good. Facebook's let me know Susan's on. I think Sue popped on for a bit as well. I'm not sure if she's still on. If you are watching and you do have questions for either myself or for Rachel, then feel free to pop them in the comments. We do read the comments. We do see them. So don't think we're just going to brush past them. All right. So when it comes to convincing yourself that you can actually start the business and help other people with the thing that you yourself were suffering with, how did you I don't want to say justify it, because we're all on our own journey, right? I'm not going to say like, oh, you weren't good enough to do it. What I am going to say though is, what sort of point did you have to get to before you turned around and said, I can help others with this?
I think it's the realising that my past doesn't control me. People don't control me. I control my own destiny. It's like I mentioned the levelling up monkeys. They are there to protect us, but at the same time, if we let them protect us too much all the time, we won't get anywhere, because we will just listen to them and we will stay comfortable, or we will stay safe. You have to basically thank them, but say, right, now's my time to say thank you, but not right now. I thank you for protecting me, but I have to take this leap. I have to do this. I need to do this, even if it's just for me. I think that's how I justified it to myself. It's like my levelling up monkeys had told me I wasn't going to do it. I wasn't going to succeed in doing it. I was going to fail, so on and so forth. And it's just like, well, I thank you for protecting me, but no, I need to face that fear. I need to see if I can do this. If I don't succeed, then so be it. It wasn't meant to be. But if I do succeed, then even better.
It seems like there's a way of trying to define when it's something that you can get past and something that you can't get past. Because you said that, oh, thank you for protecting me, but I'm going to do it anyway. I mean, how do you distinguish between the voices to listen to and the voices not to listen to?
For me personally, if I feel it's going to be a voice that I should listen to, I always double check it with another source, such as Luana, because obviously she's very helpful in things like that. Because there has been times where I thought, hang on a minute, this voice should be listened to, but then when I spoke to Luana about it, she's gone, nah, don't listen to that one. That one's one that you don't need to listen to. And she's had much more experience and many more years of doing this than I have. So I put my trust in other people as well as my own self-belief.
Mm-hmm.
So it helps bolster my self-belief. It's like if I'm umming and ahhing about whether or not I should listen or not, that's when I'll go to my secondary sources like Luana or yourself or Joy or even Naomi, because Naomi's helped me quite a lot as well.
So it seems, I mean, there is an argument then for, particularly nowadays, for instance, like with the fact that a lot of our survival needs are met a little bit easier than what they used to be, i.e. like hundreds of years, right? So because our brains are very, very early stages when we really think about it, we've not lost our survival instincts. So when those things show up, particularly nowadays, recently, there's an argument that we should very rarely actually listen to everything that we think or believe everything that we think. And what would your thoughts be on that? Because I think to a certain extent it's true, but then the problem is you've also got to weigh up the situation as well. So you can't just blindly dive in and hope for the best.
Not at all.
So what's your thoughts on the idea of not listening to everything that you believe, or listen to everything that you believe everything that you think?
I think it's a case of you've got to really think long and hard and take time. Obviously, I'll tend to do that either through journaling or meditation, and I will literally take maybe a couple of days. If it's something really poignant, I will literally sit for a few days on it before I make a 100% decision, purely for my own peace of mind. Because if I jump in gung ho, so to speak, and it goes wrong, I've only got myself to blame for that. Whereas if I took the time, and I know I've took the time, and it still goes wrong, at least then I know I covered all my bases. I took the time to work it out for myself.
Yeah. Is it a case of the quality time then is probably more important? So you spent days on it, which to some people seems like a long time, but if you just sort of left it, didn't meditate on it, didn't journal on it, it could be eating away at you for weeks instead of those couple of days. So is that focused attention something that you would recommend to others? Like it's worth meditating on something and journaling on something and sleeping to process the information and all of those things before you do actually come to a final conclusion, or do you just dive in and skip all that?
I'd definitely say if you have any doubts whatsoever, you've got to take time over it. You can't just either go make a decision. If you make a rash snap decision, usually it's probably going to be wrong. I mean, there's times where it would be right, but I think you tend to know yourself whether or not it's going to be right or wrong. It's like, for example, I'm going to America in a few weeks with Luana, and that was a very snap decision for me. Now, normally with that sort of thing, I wouldn't make a snap decision, but for some reason, my gut was saying, you've got to do this and you've got to do it now. And I'm so glad I have, because it just started off as a boot camp, but now it's exploded exponentially. It's like we are doing podcasts, we're doing TV interviews, we're meeting casting directors, you name it, we're doing it while we're over there. We are getting the full America package, so to speak, and that for me means so much more. And I just think to myself, if I'd have sat back and I'd have waited, I wouldn't have done it, and I know I wouldn't have done it. So that in that case, the snap decision was the right decision. Whereas other things, certainly like with the business, I need to make sure everything is perfect for me. I mean, it might not be perfect for everybody else, but for me, perfect for me anyway. Because if it's not, then I won't be happy. So therefore, I'm taking my time with it. Initially, I was going to take a year to set it up, but things have happened. That means I can actually bring that forward. So hopefully, it'll either be set up before the new year or just after the new year.
Oh, cool. So yeah, we have had people keep jumping up on the comments, don't they? We've got Ian, we've got James. I think there's a couple of others as well. So there's a lot of people coming on. If you do have questions, make sure you let us know. Otherwise, we will not get the chance to answer them. We can't answer them if they stay in your head. If you sort of pinpoint the situations or the times when you've dove in, and the other times when you really weighed it up, it seems like there's no real way of knowing the outcome, and that potentially, the outcome could be the same no matter how you came to the decision, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
even if you planned it out, worked it all out, spent days on the thing, meditated on it, journaled on it, slept on it, made sure you made the most informed decision that you could potentially have still made the same decision at the end if you just dove in and went with your gut instinct to begin with. Does it depend on the situation? Does it really matter how long you spend on it? Or is it just a case of like you just got to take every situation as it comes and just hope that the process that you've gone through is the right one?
I think it's a case of you just got to hope that the right ones, the process you choose is the right process at the time. I mean, like, going back to the America thing, diving in with both feet was the right answer.
Yeah.
Normally I wouldn't do that sort of thing. That's not, anybody who knows me knows that I like to cogitate on everything. I need to know the ins and outs of, and that's far effectively, for want of a better terminology. But that's just how I've been conditioned to be like that. I've been programmed to be like that from an early age in childhood.
Right.
And rightly or wrongly, I think now I'm starting to change my programming, because obviously I don't live at home anymore. I haven't lived at home for years.
No.
But after years of programming and conditioning, you are conditioned a certain way by family, friends, education, everything that happens in your life. You are conditioned in a certain way for a certain thing. It's like, I was always told I was very egotistical because I only ever wanted to be an actress. I'm an actress now, so does that make me egotistical? I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean,
okay, I'm not like Hollywood standard actor, but I am still doing something I am very passionate about, and I am getting work from it. So therefore, I'm doing what I want to do. The anti-anxiety thing is because I've seen so many children suffering and so many adults suffering with anxiety. I mean, I think the turning point for me, certainly with the anti-anxiety thing, was when you see your own child having a full-blown anxiety attack and she can't come back from it, and there's nothing you could do, and you just feel so helpless. It was like, no, this needs to stop. Children should be coming out of school happy. They shouldn't be worrying about exams. They shouldn't be worrying about what they need to do next to get where they need to be in their next career or whatever like that. I mean, for my daughter, she literally came home year 9 with her option sheet, and she went, I know exactly what I want to do. She knew from a very young age what she wanted to be, and it was like, bugger the consequences, I am going to be what I want to be. And damn it, she's at university now. She's happy in her second year at university doing animation, which is what she's always wanted to do. I'm not going to stop her from doing it because it's what she wants to do. Is she going to be a world-class animator? Is she going to work for Pixar? I don't know that. She doesn't know that. Nobody knows that. That'll happen if it happens. I hope it does happen. I hope she gets exactly to where she wants to be, because she works really hard for that. And I think that's part of the problem. A lot of children become lackluster at school because they're told they can't be what they want to be. They shouldn't be told they can't be what they want to be. They should be supported no matter what. If a child comes to you and says, I want to be an actor, support that. They may end up becoming a lawyer at the end of the day. They may change their mind once they've gone through their exams. We don't know. Nobody knows what's in our future except what we want to do. We all change our minds. It's human nature to change your mind. But I think if you support and you nurture every single child in the same way, not just your high achievers or whatever, if you support every child from the lowest of the low to the highest of the high, every child should succeed and should be happy. And obviously happy children will make happy adults.
Yeah, I mean, the idea behind the education system is probably something we could talk about for a good couple of weeks non-stop.
Every day.
Because it's something I'm quite passionate about as well. I mean, there's a definite argument for not waiting either. Like, why wait till high school before you're given options? Why wait until you're old enough to handle whatever it is that you want? You know, like we give the younger children more like play, I guess, as long as it's play within our rules. We give
Yeah.
we give the students a bit more variety, I guess, as long as it's the variety that the school wants them to have. So
Yeah.
it's yeah, we can discuss that until the cows and the cats come home.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So Joy says, "Happy children make happy adults." Yeah, definitely. I think that how we become adults determines our adulthood. You know,
Yeah.
how we grow up determines what happens when we do grow up, and I don't think we can do anything about it at the moment, because I think we're hold on to the fact that it does actually help us to a certain degree. I think that because it's the same with any form of change is they look at like what they're measuring, right? They look at what the yardstick is, what the measuring stick is, and as long as it improves, they're not going to change. As long as there is some improvement on their metrics that they're measuring things by, then the chances it'll change are very, very slim, unless you
Yeah.
change what they're measuring, unless you actually change what the measuring stick is and what success means for the educational system. I don't think things will change. But that isn't to say it's not possible. That just means that we'd have to change it in the ways that we can change it, in the ways that we can change it short term, rather than, you know, trying to scream at the education system and they'll turn around and say, well, grades are up, people are having better jobs, the employment rate's dropping, what are you moaning about? And we're moaning because there are adults that are unhappy, that are doing exactly what they don't want to do, but that's not what they're measuring. So you're going to be arguing, like comparing apples and oranges the whole time, I think. And
Definitely.
it's something that, you know, I'm not in a position to change at the moment. But there is a yet in there. There is a yet in there. It's going to happen sooner or later, I think. So yeah, we are reasonably close to the end, but I thought we would do a quick fire round, if you will. So a couple of quick questions, just so people can take something home with them or keep at home with them, because they're probably watching from home. And it is, if you could do the top 3 things that you needed before you started your business, to start your business, what would they be?
Ooh, top 3 things to start my business. I'd probably employ a business manager, so they could do all the paperwork for me.
Yeah.
Get somebody to make all the phone calls for me, because I don't like phone calls at all. But obviously, it's part and parcel of the job. Third one, work out a decent wage. That's what I'm having trouble with, working out what I'm worth.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool. All right.
Or what my time's worth, should I say?
Yeah. So what would you say was the major deciding factor between starting a business, so getting established, if you will, like the startup side, to then growing it? What do you think it takes for someone to get to that point?
Constant work. Never resting on your laurels. You know, it's like I'm going to have to bring Katie into this. Katie Redstar is an amazing woman. She's deaf and she has sight problems.
Yep.
She has set up her own business in sign language, and she's actually going into corporate businesses and teaching them sign language. So obviously businesses like shops and things like that will learn sign language, so they'll have somebody who can communicate at all times with somebody in the shop, because she finds it very hard. I mean, she can speak.
Yep.
It's not as clear as it could be, bless her. I mean, I love her to bits. But she's securing so much work, and it's because she's constantly working at it. She's not sitting back going, oh, well, I've got 5 clients now, I can sit back, I can relax. No, she's going, right, I have 5 clients, I need 5 more. I need 10 more, I need 20 more. And by God, she's getting them because she is constantly working. And if I get half the client base she's got, I'll be happy. I'll be over the moon. I'm going to strive to be as good as her. You know, I'm taking her as an inspiration now, because she has worked so goddamn hard, and I've seen her go from I can't do this to I'm fucking doing this. Pardon my French.
It's all right.
You know what I mean? She is literally blowing everybody away, and I wish her all the luck in the world, because she's kicked backside, left, right, and centre. And she's getting out there and she's going, you need this, and this is why you need it. And that's going to be my work ethics, I think. You need that. You need this. You need me. Let me in and let me show you what I can do. Let me sort this out.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a definite argument there for when she started to believe in herself, then things started to take off. Just before we finish in as well, we've got Tony and Jenna. Awesome. Good to hear from you two. No, I'm not. I mean, I've not. I think I spoke to Jenna yesterday or the day before. I've not spoke to Tony in, blimey, feels like years. So just before
We get busy.
I know, it's a nightmare. Just before we dive off, a couple of quick things. Thanks for being on the show. I appreciate you coming on. It's nice
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Nice to talk to you. For those of you that have no idea who Rachel is, share with us a bit about yourself, a little bit last quick thing, and where people can go to find out more about you.
Okay, obviously my name's Rachel Michaelson. My acting name is Ebony Ray Michaelson. I've got a wonderful family. I'm setting up my own business in anti-anxiety. My primary job though is as an actor. I'm heading off to Hollywood in a few weeks' time. Can't believe it's only a few weeks till I go. But yeah, and I'm going to do Fox interviews. I'm going to be doing podcasts. You name it, I'm doing it while I'm over there. It is not a holiday by any stretch of the imagination. No. I'm a fun-loving person. You can find my website. I'm about to start work on a feature film called Salvate Us. We're trying to get funding for that. I've got lots going on. I'm writing a book. I'm writing a short script. I'm a very busy lady.
Yeah, definitely.
I keep myself busy. But primarily, my family comes first.
Yeah, as always. All right, so just before we dive off, thanks for being a guest on the show. Our next guest is going to be Jane Baker, who specialises in high-end selling. So we're going from the startup all the way to how to sell things that are priced above the average. So we're talking not like 3-figure stuff, we're talking 4 to 5-figure stuff. So that's what she specialises in. I can't wait for that. It should be interesting. Also one of my best friends, if not my best friend at the moment. So it's going to be more than entertaining. I am predicting a funny one, to say the least. So, Rachel, thanks for being a guest on the show. For those of you that are just tuning in, make sure you watch the replay. The replay is going to be on the profile, but I'm also going to put it on YouTube as well. So there's a playlist that I've got set up on YouTube for the show. I'll send everything to you, Rachel, so you have access to that, so you can share it out.
No problem.
Is there anything that I've not mentioned? Yes, one last thing I've not mentioned. And it is, yeah, because this is like the second one that I've done that's actually worked out. So I'm still trying to figure out the kinks and everything else. And that is that the show is sponsored by Entrepreneurs, Success and Sales Mindset, Facebook group for entrepreneurs wanting success and sales through the power of their mind. So thanks again, Rachel. I'm sure we'll keep in touch. And
Definitely.
Thanks to everybody who tuned in.